Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is still Saturday, December the 15th, 2018. Yeah, it is for at least another hour and 15 minutes, at least here on the East Coast.
I was gonna say we've got plenty of time.
Yeah. Well, we have plenty of time. Anything we want to have time.
We'll just change the date.
I say just throw it all out altogether.
There you go.
Yeah. So BZ picked this one, and we're going to talk about become transformed by the unknown. And this smacks to me, of course, of the fantastical, because that's what I love. That's where matter of fact, when you asked us if we wanted to play today, I have to share this too with you, BZ. That text I sent to you that said, same fairy time, same fairy channel. I sent that text in error to somebody else. Part of what we've been doing here with, letting go of things, as that we've been listing some things on Facebook. And actually, this kind of ties into this become transformed by the unknown. Because I've never done that before, first of all, putting something up in the marketplace. And we've had the most fun with this, because the beautiful beings that are being drawn to us through this has been just fantastic. And Lisa and I had gone to, someone bought one of the pieces of furniture, and the storage unit has to be empty by Monday. And so we're like, hey, look, if you know anybody, there's still a lot of things here. So, and we're going to be making deals. And honestly, it's got to go by Monday. And so there was a young man that was with the older fella that was buying the desk. And he said, well, how much do you want for the bed? And we told him it was a set. And it's like, hey, by tomorrow we need help getting it out of here. So if it's still here and you're willing, come on down, And so he was so sweet. And he and I were texting back and forth about, or making arrangements for tomorrow instead of Monday. Lisa and I kind of talked to, like, we felt like that just belonged to him, so to speak. I mean, just he felt so delicious and so sweet and everything. So I had been texting back and forth with him, and this young man is younger than my child. And he gets this text from this old gray-haired lady saying, same fairy time, same fairy channel. So, but he's okay, thank goodness. I told him, I said, I did that by mistake, sorry. So he's still coming over tomorrow, so that's good.
That is nice.
But actually I'm glad you picked this one, because a lot of what we've experienced with the Facebook thing, and where I immediately went in our very first conversation with the creator roundtables, as you know, was that maybe I didn't belong there, because I just don't always jump to the fantastical. I'm a fairy, I'm going to fly. And
for some people, the unknown could be fantastically delicious or fantastically scary.
Yes.
And
well, there's lots of unknowns too, by the way.
Right.
Because there are some unknowns that I have been facing myself in some of the internal, just looking at stuff and where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing. And some of that is unknown and kind of scary, because it's like that. I think we were talking about that stepping off the cliff and the cloud come up to meet. Okay, so that's exactly what I feel when I think of this title.
Well, so when you think of the unknown, so let's play with it for a minute. Just when you take your pen and write down, when you think of the unknown, is there one or two or three things that come to mind? It could be unknown to you, or unknown that someone's, just anything, not attachment to whose unknown it is, but what comes to mind.
I am hard pressed.
I have lots of but it's all centered around fear. That's what I kept coming back to for me. But there's lots of unknown for me. The unknown, sometimes depending on what I'm, because okay, so BZ, you said write down the unknown. Why did I mean?
Or even what you describe of it. So I just to give you an example. So I wrote, unknown, the steps. I don't know the steps. It's unknown. So what are the steps? Or what's the end result? It's unknown. How, and what's the condition of the path?
That's unknown too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Right. Okay.
And that could hold. I was trying to play in a way that could hold to either one. Right? So it could be fantastically good or fantastically bad, or whatever that unknown is. So, and is it really unknown? Or is it the perceived unknown, and then the story that one either is predominantly holding that colors it? So before playing with the unknown, and how delicious it is because it is transformational, and as we've talked about in the last conversation and many others, as you begin to play with and be subject to and come into connection with these things, it begets more. So be transformed by the unknown is just what it says. I mean, and the more that you do it, the more that you become subject to, the more that you watch it unfold and behold what's going on, there's more of that. And so what's the, if we play a little bit with before we become, and before we transform and transformed, what is the, if we can play a little bit with what is the unknown, what does it feel like, what are the, what's the road, steps, whatever, what we think it kind of gets us in the neighborhood of feeling like it's the unknown. Why do we perceive it as unknown? Is it really unknown? So if we're small, 99% of those things are unknown, and oh my goodness, wow, I don't even want to look, But if we shift to maybe even, maybe I'm not small, is that unknown? You know what I mean? Because that's the whole idea about playing with it. You can still go back to the unknown and not wanting to do it and being scared of it and resisting it and coming up with a whole story and characters and commercials and plot line and sequels and promotional toys for the unknown and the story that you're making up about it. That's cool. You can get back to that. But what does it feel like? What are you, because I think that helps. First of all, and just playing with just the way I have in a very, you start to see that, okay, maybe it looks like, feels like, moves like, quacks like in a different way than I'm thinking it is. And maybe my thinking is just an angle. Remember, the example of this laptop, right? So everybody knows what a laptop is. When you have it open, there's the part on the top. So I'm looking at this laptop. I can see a screen, and I can see 3 images of 3 beings on the screen, and then there's a couple other writing on the top and stuff at the bottom. And and then if I stand over here and look at it from this side, or stand over there from that side, or from above or the back or below, I would describe it in very different ways. Sure. So as I sit here and look at this laptop, this is known because I can describe it. I may have never used it before, per se, right? But it's known because it's right in front of me. I can feel it and shake it and, right? But thinking about going over there and looking at the laptop from this side, or encountering it from over here, it's not really known. But that's a perception, because actually if I in this metaphor, I stand there looking, I can say, well, I can see the edge, and so I can see some of the things. I can feel if I put my hand there. So that's why it's really helpful to play with just the unknown part, because most times, as you said it yourself, Sheila, there's fear there that we create these monsters. Something goes wrong with your pet, and or something is different, or you notice something, right? And all of a sudden, there's that propensity to make these monsters come up.
Yes.
And even if there is something that's an illness or something's wrong, again, there's a propensity to make those monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And even if, the animal, the being, whoever it is in hospice, right? There are these propensity to make these monsters. Yet what actually is happening is there is something being moved through and unfolding and being experienced. And, I remember when my mom was going through hospice, and someone stopped me on the street, and asked me how she was. And I said, she's doing good. She's moving through the process. And they said, oh, so she's not going to get better. I said, no, she's actually getting much better. She's expanding, and it's wonderful. She's choosing how she wants this to unfold. And they looked at me for a minute thinking, she's in hospice. So healing, I said, yeah, she's going through tremendous healing. So healing from a linear aspect does not always mean, oh, okay, you're all better, but yet you're healed. And in that whole healing process, you can heal yourself. You can heal other beings all around you. It can be transformative. And I would say that's a good indication of, an unknown thing, right? Yeah. And it's transformative. And the being may ultimately leave the planet, this physicality, but it is transformational, and it's healing and holding. So again, that's just one of a good example of one of those things that if we have an attachment to a specific thing, whatever it is, and it could be a new job, it could be moving, it could be going to a new school or a new store or a new job, or all sorts of things. I mean, it could be anything simple. Well, I'm going to drive a different way. I've never I'm not that familiar with these different places, and I've got to go to some place and I'm going to take another way, and because there's traffic, or you're driving along and all of a sudden there's a detour, right? And you're like, okay, it's dark out. I'm not really sure. I know where I want to go. I'm not really sure where this road, like 4:00 in the morning, the day after Thanksgiving, Keegan's in the car with me. It's 4:00 in the morning, and the cop's going, and I'm going, but I want to go that way, and it's pitch dark out, and I don't know what's that way. And he's going that way, and I said, okay, well, I rolled down my window, and I said, so that's going to be closed for a while? He said, yes, big accident. I said, okay, I appreciate that very much, and I'm just going to let you know that I have to pull a U-turn here because I know I don't want to go that way, which is the way he was pointing. I have no idea which is this way, the way I came in an alternate route, but I'm going to make that work for me. He said, okay, great, and off you went. So that would be, and it's 4:00 in the morning, yet the clock is ticking, and the first dog on the line at X time, and I'm actually putting on this agility trial with my team, and where the heck is she? Kind of a thing. So I could have turned into anything. Instead, I said, okay, well, we need to go that way, make it happen. So this unknown comes up all the time in all different ways. And each time and every time we can be transformed in it. We can bring new tools on board, new capacities on board. We can throw stuff overboard that we didn't need. And this was this moment that we needed or brought to us to throw that overboard. So it's really wonderful to have these opportunities if we're willing to play with
them. You're aware that you're.
Way.
I wasn't sure if you were aware. I'm getting that you're very choppy and robo, but Lisa was for me too. Lisa, did you notice that with BZ, or was it just me? Because
you're freezing all the time.
I hear BZ crystal clear, but you freeze for me.
Yeah, Lisa's not freezing and you are.
Okay, that's weird, because I just got to notice that it was my internet is unstable. Okay, well, I have to say, BZ, that during your conversation, though, during what you were saying there, what kept coming for me in regards to some of that had to do with the conditioning and programming that I have allowed, and for me, I see, and I really I feel as though part of the feeling of the unknown is anything that is outside of the shirt, or not outside, but outside of the thought process of the
now you're going
shirt in the this body this one time around.
Wait, say that again. Oh. You went all robo on that. And then you went really fast. Because you caught up with yourself.
I was, oh yeah. I was saying that I feel like I want to make sure I say it the way I felt it.
Okay.
The propensity for feeling that this is all there is, this one time, this body, that there's no other dimensions. It's just, one and done, and all of that. Mm-hmm. Anything outside of that kind of unknown. I feel like that, of course, we all already know that's through programming and conditioning. That was, something we all set up on purpose for a reason, but that's what is leaving now. And so I was just thinking that that's why there's so much fear attached to the unknown. And then the minute I was feeling that and saying that, I was also feeling, and what came in was, okay, yeah, but you always jump to the fantastical, Sheila. So you're not afraid of the fantastical. So, and maybe the fantastical is an intellectual exercise for Sheila. I don't know. That's something perhaps I might want to look at. But I see where the fear kind of comes in, because it's something outside of, what we've been taught or what we think we are, and it's also limiting,
or perceived comfort,
because it feels like you're jumping into the deep. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was, that's a good point, BZ. I was really feeling that for myself. For me, the unknown feels a little scary. There's fear involved, yes. And why is that? And for me, it's that comfort zone, because I don't know, what's familiar. I mean, there's the expression, the devil, there's just something about change. And when you don't know what the change is, it's uncomfortable, period. For me, it just is. And I noticed that I really want to plan everything out. And I've come to realize it's really, for me, a control issue. I want to control how it all goes down, every detail. And there's a bit of a surrender to the unknown that has to happen in this game that I'm playing, of trusting myself. And so I like how you're saying about letting it transform you, because really it has been all of the unknowns that are the transformational things, and it's how I deal with it, and it's how I engage the experience, and what I say to myself about it, that defines it for me as an experience. It just is what it is. And so I like that, because I'm really facing a lot of unknowns right now, just tons of them. And I want to be real uncomfortable about it. Like, I've caught myself going, well, this just is uncomfortable. I mean, really, in a lot of different ways I didn't really anticipate that I'd be uncomfortable. And what's funny is that I am now learning to be comfortable in my discomfort. And so I think this is a really important tool for my tool chest, to hold it in the transformational gift piece of the unknown. Because really I was focusing more on the discomfort of not knowing and leading with that story. So thank you for this.
I want to, both of you have me bring up a couple of thoughts. You said, Lisa, I'm uncomfortable in my uncomfortableness, right? Okay, absolutely. You could also be comfortable in.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. I'm now working on being comfortable with my uncomfortableness.
Right. But what I was going to say is that you could be comfortable in your kibitzingness, however you would want to phrase that. So that's out of my comfort zone, so I'm uncomfortable going out of my comfort zone. But if you looked around, you'd see you had a propensity for that. So you could then give it some kind of label, like I'm comfortable in my kibitzing. I'm comfortable in my storyline that's averse to X, Y, Z, or whatever. Or let me turn it around. That is actually a very common thing, but unless you exhibit that and experience it, you wouldn't see it that way. Have you ever heard of an adrenaline junkie? Right?
Yeah.
So people who like to skydive, or they got to be a fireman, they got to do this, got to do that, and it's that. But routine and sitting on the couch and being comfortable, these kinds of things, it makes them, kind of twitchy, because that's out of their comfort zone. And people go, what? You jump off of buildings. Yeah, but that is their comfort zone. Right. And something else is uncomfortable for them. So that's what I'm saying is, so we perceive these things as, oh, no, I got to be safe. I got to be this. And these other people say, no, I got to have the rush. I have the new things, or that challenge, whatever it is. It's all a perception. It's all what we're putting out there.
Right, you're focusing.
And as we play with it and behold it in different ways, just to try it on, we can be transformed and transform what we call those comfort zones, or what we're labeling as fear, or whatever it is. Because one thing, okay, well, there are many who are certain of it, some who have a glimpse of kind of certain of it, some who have a thought that's probably the case, and some who don't have a clue at all, that each being has been and done a whole myriad, many millions of myriads of things so far in their beingness, in their trajectory of source being source.
How did that happen?
I don't know. You reset yourself.
No, I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden, you guys are gone, and the whole thing is like gone. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting, and it reconnected me, and we're recording and everything. So,
we do that a lot.
Yes, we do.
I think we timeline jump in our own Zoom show.
I think you might be right about that.
I know it's correct, because I've noticed other things where I go, oh, okay. So yeah, there's all of these envelopes. I don't know, because we haven't talked about it off camera, but the energetic envelopes and the energetic frequencies within these energetic envelopes that we open up has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I know.
And more powerful. Or another way to say it is and I don't mean pull as in pulling people in or something like that. I'm talking about this is the phrase that's coming to mind, the gravitational pull of the expansive frequency of the energetic envelope is accelerating, is expanding, is amping up, amplifying. So anyways,
I feel that's true.
Yeah. So I think as we
feel that in my field is
as we go through different things, in the moment we can jump, to another thing. And maybe Sheila's just going to be jumping all over the place.
She's gone now.
That's right. I know. She's good.
Where is she?
She's on all of the different multi-dimensional tourist fields going bing, bing, bing.
So I'm gone again? Is this?
You're back.
Oh, okay.
You were gone briefly.
Oh, okay. Well,
just frozen. Just frozen. Your face was frozen.
I gotcha. I wanted to say before I freeze or drop off again, before I forget it, that because it came up quite a few times. I know the title is Become Transformed by the Unknown. And I say that you can't help but become, you will become. And there is no, it ain't like you got a choice in the matter. Because I see it as what? Well, no, that's not true. You do have a choice, uh, because that just came in. There is a choice. The choice is how you will experience the unknown.
Well, how
And
you
I'm thinking,
experience the transformation, because you'll be transformed. Yeah, but
well, no,
I
for
was
me, I have to say, I think it's the unknown because remember, the very first thing I kept thinking about was fear. And there that's a choice. I can choose to be in fear,
yeah.
or I can choose to be wide open and yes, let's go and just face it in love and know that I am, no matter what this unknown presents, is exactly the way it's meant to be. And you know, as being all that is and eternal, it is actually, uh, when I step back and think about that portion of it, my gosh, it's that's the only reason for doing this. It'd be the unknown, if you ask me. I mean, think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yep,
absolutely.
So,
this is
yeah.
it. Yeah,
And
it's
and
all about the
you know,
unknown.
the coming in of the title of Become Transformed by is so the unknown is so that one isn't freaked out by the title and won't even want to come near to play with.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that makes sense then.
It's a little bit of
Oh,
multi-dimensional, approachable marketing. I think was what AI we
I'm
had
sorry, BZ. You know me.
in mind.
She's frozen.
She is. So there, like I said, there are many different instances, aspects, things that could be, the unknown. See, I told you, you're timeline jumping all over the place. You're just collapsing timelines all over the place.
Must be. Must be.
Um, and they're they're all the things. They can be fearful, perceived. They can be joyful. They can
Oh,
be spectacular. They can be fantastical. Um, they can be all of those kind of emotions or descriptors, on the whole vast, if you're going to think of a wheel, and then some. And yeah, and so I'm nudged to point out here that as you're seeing evidence with Sheila, um, that we are changing and flipping through um, different frequencies, different kind of things that we may have hung on to or had hung on us or glommed onto or got stuck to, or you can say it in lots of different ways. And all of these things are being peeled off, revealed, released, enfolded if they're expansive things, all at the same time. And so this actually is what's happening here on camera is a good linear thing, because two of the beings on this show share the exact same internet system. One is crystal clear, has no problem speaking it, and is free. The other one is not, and is exactly the same. And if you've ever lost something, the signal cannot completely disappear and come back and take that short a span, number one, and be gone and frozen. And when you come back, Sheila, the refresh is better quality video than it was before. You are moving around to different places in where you are on the screen. And you're recording, because there's a bug up in the corner of our screens that tells us your recording of this has never stopped, yet you keep leaving. So from a linear, logistical, technical, 3D thing, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly. And here's another kicker. I am not on my tablet. I'm on a brand new laptop.
Right.
So, this is, you're absolutely correct. This is, wow. I hadn't thought about it like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. So in her usual fashion, because it's one of Sheila's things that she signed up to do, although sometimes she forgets, that she's giving, show and tell examples of being transformed by the unknown.
Yeah.
So let's play for a little bit. How do you notice it?
As it happens, a lot of times that I don't know what I'm doing.
How do you notice, and how do you play with, or how do you make the decision, or have the courage, or trust yourself, or allow yourself, or convince yourself, or talk yourself into stepping into and through the unknown? Because I can hear there a number of beings who are saying in different ways. I'm feeling at least 5 of them have said it in different ways. Well, how do I know what to do? How do I know if it's fear? And how do I know, because I had talked about, someone used the things I had talked about. How do I know the condition of the path? If I'm looking at something where I've got to, and I want to change my job soon. I don't know. It's kind of my idea, but it's kind of being put on me as well. And how do I know that? And then actually it comes to mind as someone in a physical locality to me here, he was asking me something about similar to this. So I don't know if this is his energy or somebody else's energy, but I'm picking up on. But so how do you play with that? Have you guys had something that you can share? I can go in different ways, but let's see if you guys have something.
Oh, yeah, I have a pretty good one, actually. Well, the whole idea of, am I frozen again?
Kinda.
Okay.
A bit.
Because I just saw internet unstable. The whole time that I was waffling back and forth regarding my marriage, whole bunch of fear about the unknown, about me, my health, how would I do this, how am I going to make it, all of those sorts of things.
Right.
Until finally, I mean, I actually created the whole situation. And I was very clear on that, but it was that that fear of the unknown that actually kept me, that was part of it, a lot of it, kept me from just jumping and going for it and not being concerned about, but that too had a lot to do with comfort level and a whole lot of programming and conditioning that I was still operating under. And so, in that particular case, I set it up. I created a no way out situation for myself, which actually, like I said, here in a year and a half later now, I see the way I set that up for myself was perfect in the way that I set that up. I mean, I would never have recognized it in the moment that all of that began, nor would I have even a year later, which would have been, this past summer. But in this moment of now, I can see where it was exactly the perfect way. And so.
Because you wouldn't have done it any other way.
No, I wouldn't have. And I know I wouldn't have.
Right. Literally.
As I waffled every damn day, most of the time, it seemed like. And so now, though, in the last.
And wait, I'm going to stop you there for a minute. So, just in that small little snapshot, would you say it's fair to say that you've been transformed by that unknown? Yeah. She's going to jump on us again. She's.
Okay, that is actually hysterical because, yes, we all know how Sheila's been transformed by that whole experience.
Yeah.
Hence, again, my not only it's like an expansion actually of my love and care for that being that is and was my husband, because how grateful I am to have had this experience. I mean, it's been fabulous for me.
And so let me stop you for a moment there. So remember I asked before, we were talking about there's fear of the unknown. And I said, well, is it really unknown? And so you just gave a beautiful illustration that of your eternalness, of your plans to come in with different plans, different missions, different roles, different things that we want to accomplish from all different levels, from a soul level, from galactic level, from, all different levels and aspects. And so I'm just going to take one, and that's you in your role as in choosing this husband, third husband. So you coordinated these things and chose these different things with a number of them, right? So it's not unknown. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not unknown. It's only the perception that you hold in the story that you tell oneself because you're not small. Just say it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now
Well, you know, there's been so much, of course.
Okay, try it again. Say it again.
You're kidding me. Okay, can you hear me now? No? You're kidding me.
You're not in sync.
Hear you now.
You're not you're on parallel lines. You're not in sync with yourself. You're giving yourself a 3-second delay.
Okay, that's funny.
Okay, now you're lined up.
Wow. I saw so much in there in just that, what you said, BZ. All you had to say was my third husband. And oh my God, I've got and for me, I have a noticing too that he entered into my life during my first Saturn return and left during my second. So I set all of that up for myself.
You both
to very
it was
oh man, can you stand it?
It was a co-creation. Yeah.
No, I feel that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not unknown. That's what I'm saying. That's a very good example there. It's not unknown.
Yes, on
well,
on levels.
Yeah, you're about to say, well, yeah, on a multi-dimensional level, but me is just being little in the shirt, right? You know, so since you're not lined up with yourself and you're freezing and not freezing, I'm gonna say what you would have said, and then your audio will come through and we'll hear what Sheila's saying, which is gonna be the same thing. But see, we're not separate from our multidimensionality.
Wow.
Right? We're not. We have the thought that we might be out of sync with our multidimensionality, but we're not. There's a lot of chatter that we create in the stories, in the perceptions, in the but, or the, but I can, or this or that or the other thing, that makes a lot of noise, right? So if you think about noise, have you ever had an occurrence where someone's playing music that you don't particularly groove with, and it's coming very loud, and you can feel the noise as well as experience and hear the noise? Yes? Okay. So that's what we're doing to ourselves when we do that, and so we then take ourselves out of sync, or we give ourselves the perception because of that noise filter, because we're all energy and it's all vibration and it's all how we move in those vibrational bandwidths. And when we create that much noise, right, which has all of those frequencies, if you're ever depending on how you listen to audio, on a computer screen, you can see the audio waves, and you can expand it a bit so that there's more space between the waves, and you can hear. I could show you the audio just from this, regardless of the glitches we've had, right? Technical supposedly glitches we've had, but I could show you the audio, and just by looking at it, without listening to it, I could tell you that's Sheila's, that's Lisa's, that's Beezy's. Because they're recognizable. You can actually feel them. You don't have to listen to them with your linear ears. But what I'm trying to make is a visual word picture of what occurs when we have all of these perceives and storylines and all that kind of stuff that creates this out of syncness, perceived out of syncness. So when I say, they're not really unknown, or doing it the other way, are they Are they unknown? Is it unknown? There's nuance and flavor and more richness or a little bit less richness that we may add in when we get to the moment, in this moment, of co-creating it, in addition to like a play, right? You've got your lines, you've got your march, go through this. You may add a little shoulder move, or and the director may say, no, too much, or yeah, that's perfect. That's what the scene was missing. Right? How many stories have you heard if you hear someone who's talking about a play or a movie or this, that, and the other thing, and they're kind of just talking about how they were doing the production, and they take, one scene comes up and how do you do that? Oh, we had 57 takes and it was this last time, and so-and-so actor did such and such, and that was the thing that made the scene. Right? So all of that are good, really good metaphors for what we're doing right this moment.
Well, it came to me that when you say that, is it really unknown? It's really just the perception on little Sheila in the chair that it's unknown. And it is that perception that causes little Sheila in the chair to go into fear.
Yes.
And that is what I, anytime I feel into something that I'm considering, if I feel fear, I want to sit with that for a bit and see, what that's about and that sort of thing. And in some cases, depending on like the idea of what I feel regarding travel, let's say. There's a lot of unknowns in travel.
Yeah.
And especially if you're female, and especially if you suspect that you may be going out on your own at some point. And I feel more when I feel into that, it feels more excitement now than fear, but it hadn't always felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's
I want to add something here to play with it. I think
that is part of.
She may be gone again. There she is.
I was gone again? I heard Lisa say she's gone again.
You were frozen.
Oh, okay.
And then you'd stop talking and we couldn't hear anything. So.
Well, I wanted to just add this thing because I think it will perhaps give you some other pieces to play with, and a whole other, I didn't see that coming, sort of a thing. So you said, paraphrasing, so are you saying that this fear of the unknown is, that because I'm it's the small shirt doing that, right? You were on that line, and I said yes. And so you were going on to describe it, and what I wanted to add was, but I didn't say that, it's not unknown because there were thoughts and plans and agreements and, kind of co-creation in the non-physical laid out to then come and play in the physical, right? So does that make sense? So what I want to add in here is what I didn't say is I didn't say that it's all so scripted out that you're just a robot coming and, and you make every mark where, okay, scene X in so many days, minutes, seconds, you're going to be here and you're doing this and you're right. So it's a combination of those two things. That's why I don't know, some people get it right away and some people it's a head scratcher forever, and there's a whole range in between, where there's your destiny and your creation. You know, the destiny that's unfolding, and you are meeting it with your creation and your free will in the moment. And two of those actually dance as partners together. Why? Because we're multidimensional.
Right. Well, I've always held, and now I see where that feeling ties into what you're saying. Because I've heard, you know, discussion about, well, where does free will play into anything if we set all this up before we came here? And I have always held it that it's like a story outline. There's and I thought this before I began this expansive journey that I have undertaken in just the last 2 to 3 years. I felt this long before that. So I know that I came in with this, that it's like a sketch outline. This is what I want to experience it. And you know, it's like a laundry list. I want to experience this, and I want to experience this, and I want to experience this. Will you do this for me? Will you come here and play my rat bastard first husband for me so I can experience this and grow like this? And okay, sure, I'll sign up for that. And then it is the free will choices that are made along the way that then determine how that experience plays out. It's still an experience. It's still the experience that, you know, I wanted to lay out for myself specifically, maybe.
Yes, and you're not small.
No, not small.
And it's every experience and every free will experience, and there is one of you that experiences and plays. You're multidimensional. So every one of you plays out with each husband, with each kid. And Sheila says, well, you have one kid. Yes, but you have 3 husbands and the kid was there. So every possible, this is why all of you is imploding into you and holding and coming back together. Did I say this was a big job and there was a lot of stuff happening and a whole lot of changes? So, right. So yes, you're absolutely right. And I'm just laying a little bit more of the nuance to it. So it's that storyline, and you picked one, but it's all of those storylines.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're multidimensional over there when you're writing the story, so you're not going to just write. And it's all of those free wills, and it's all of those free wills. Let's take husband number 3, for example, in a myriad of different chapters and verse, or maybe, if you have a book and it's translated into different languages, right? Mm-hmm. So one could say it's the same book, right, in different languages, except each language has its own flavor, its own nuance, its own words that it's used, its own cultural things, its own frames of reference, right? So now, and depending on where in that individual culture of that language that book is translated, you could have lots of, right, different storylines. So now you're starting to get to see we're not small. And you are transformed by the unknown, and the unknown is a glorious, delicious, cosmically, sublimely yummy thing. And as you said, Sheila, that's what we get off on. That's why we love it. That's what we do, because we have the storyline and we have the free will and and we have all of those possibilities. You know, I don't have a big enough state that I live in to go like this enough times to have enough room for all the possibilities. And the unknown adds a different layer, a pinch of this, a pinch of that, a scoop of this, a scoop of that, right? A dash of this, a dash of that in each one. And that's what we're doing. And now we're unwinding and unbinding the distortions out of all of those different things, which is transforming Sheila on all those different things, and Lisa and Beezy and all the yous out there, right? All of the we's, us's out there on this planet and all over, and holding each of our energy signature streams, to give a little bit of a word picture for that, from all of the entities and all the beings, all the facets that is us in this stream, my particular stream, we'll say, energy stream. So we're holding all of that and transforming the stream, each element of the stream, all of the streams, all, and nothingness, all at the same time.
Well, I know that this is true. Let me just say, I know that what you speak of is truth. And I just heard a bunch of beings go, "Oh yeah, how do you know?" I'm living proof of that. I view that for myself. I am living proof of that. And what we've experienced is proof of that as well. Each one, every, all. That's proof of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we just you know, not to put too fine a point on it, but we haven't even talked about the unknown or the transformation of it or becoming it or playing with it or diving into it or yahooing into it or any other things anywhere remotely there. We just talked about the title.
I know. I know.
And the beauty of that is there's, you know, we broached and touched and queued up and just painted little executive summaries of all the different potentiality of it.
Yes, because it holds all potentiality.
Yes, and who unlocks that?
You do.
See previous video, that word with 3 letters.
That's right.
You.
Every you. Right? Every single you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I hesitate to call this a part 1 because sometimes we don't ever get to the part 2 of it that's around again, but it's a different title. Well, I've noticed that.
Yeah, that happens a lot. That's okay. You have to watch them all.
That's right.
It's in my plan. You see.
Oh, listen, I have to go back and watch some of this one because I missed some of the things
Yeah.
y'all said. Because BZ was talking real robo-y for most of it.
Oh.
And then when I was ducking in and out, well, I heard some of it, because a lot of it I'm beginning to be able to feel and pick up BZ.
Yeah. See?
Well, this is one of the reasons that we have 2 recording streams so that, see on our side, which is interesting, from what Lisa and I are hearing, there's only a few little smidges of robo sound, and it's all coming from you. All the rest is clean audio. And she lives in your house on your video stream.
I
So
know,
you go figure that one out.
That is so weird.
Let me just say that explanation did not go robo. I heard all of that. And you're exactly correct, because I thought about that myself. How the hell is it that Lisa hasn't, I just didn't get it, but okay.
Because you said, you had to go back and listen because she's hearing your audio in theory. So, as I have said many, many, many times since we started playing together, we're not in linear anymore. And if you wanted an actual technical on-camera example, there you go.
Well, apparently it was required in this moment of now. And so I made that shit happen. Can I just...
Thank you.
No problem. The cake.
Right. Do it in my sleep.
Wow. Well, is there anything else that either one of you would like to add for this particular energetic envelope? Although there's so much more we could.
No, not for me.
You all actually silent?
No,
you're just behind us. Lisa's talking.
Yeah. So when BZ asked the question at the beginning, I thought, I'm so horrible at remembering, what the question is. So I wrote down what I wanted to say, just enough so that I'd remember and call it up for myself. And then BZ said it. All of it. I wrote down, I have a plan. Because I was going to say that I have learned to embrace that there really is no unknown. And that the greater part of me already has something it wants to experience. And I am magnetically pulling that to me now. And so it really isn't unknown, other than what I do with what comes. So that's the unknown, is how I behave, how I show up, what I focus on. Where do I fit in to all of it? As far as, because that destiny thing is a thing. As far as do you, see it as, oh, I just have to kind of be here and destiny and fate has it all worked out for me? Or do I create my experience here? And I'm starting to see that, a part of creation too for me is just the energetics that I hold, the perspective, the way that I am choosing to see creates my experience. So that's really been pretty big for me. And to know that all I have to do is show up to the experience, to the ride, to the fun, has also made it much more enjoyable for me, because instead of it being sort of this really scary thing, it's more of a thrill ride that I purchased the ticket for, which is just way more fun.
Yeah, and you are the experience, the experiencer,
Yes.
the writer of the experience, the coming in, and you're the what, like, the in a play, you're the understory and the study and the step in. So you're all of we're each are all of those things. So you were saying, I've often wondered, is it fate and destiny, or is it free to choose? And the answer is yes.
It's all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that and a whole bunch more, but yeah.
Well, I'm not quite sure again why this came in, but I'm going to go ahead and give it. Because the metaphors in this particular envelope have been off the chart, and Lisa just used a few more in regards to the plan. And for crap's sake, how much have we heard recently? Trust the plan.
Right, and we are the plan.
Yes.
We are the plan. That's right. We really are the plan. Because where we go one, we go all.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the metaphors, come on, they're everywhere, and they do apply to this.
Sure. Because everything's connected.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, we're not in a vacuum. We're not missing anything. We're not small. I mean, you can just keep saying a lot of the same things over and over again, and they all change their meanings and their nuance and their breadth and depth with every time we play with it, because hey, we just changed everything in each little tiny step that we took, which changed all. So the fate, the destiny, the free will changes moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, because each moment you change, your co-creators change, the all changes, nothingness changes, and then you take the next moment.
Do it all again.
For the very first time.
Wow.
But yeah, there's unknown to be terrified about, and you're small. Hey.
Honestly, I think that's the be all end all, is that when it all comes down to it, the very biggest fear, I think, is that we are not small. There are some, I feel like, because that's coming to, I mean, I'm enjoying it, but there are, I think that maybe that's a part, maybe that could be part of it. I don't know.
Well, and the unknown too is, well, what if someone won't let me, or this is happening, or I can't do that, or how do I? And part of the unknown, you're absolutely right, is the component is that, hang on, I'm not small. I create everything. That means I have to play with, I'm not small and I create everything. And so that's something else that well, actually, I can describe many, many times for myself, and many, many times with many other beings I've had conversations and played with, and we've delved into, and they realize that their whole laundry list of fears and things that were something were totally opposite, and they had everything to do with them, nothing else to do with anybody else, and not at all about them being small in any way, shape, or form.
Yep. That's why I said I think that's the ultimate bottom line of it. think that's my favorite word. Wow.
I know. Yeah, a lot of wow listeners.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, if neither one of you have anything else to add to this energetic envelope, do you?
Not this one.
Not for me.
All right. Well, as per usual, all the usual things will be in all the usual places for anyone that's new. That just means that how to contact any one of us is always in the show more sections of this video. And I'd love to hear comments and questions and, just anything that anyone wants to share. So till next time.
Much love.